During my education and training at the Kripalu School in Massachusetts, I had the extraordinary pleasure and privilege of being the student of an incredible man named Ben-Shahar. And this man, if you've never heard of him, he taught the most popular class at Harvard University, which was called Positive Psychology and the Study of Optimal Functioning. And he is a leader, a thought leader, and a practitioner of yoga. He's a yoga instructor, in fact. He's one of the leading experts in the field of positive psychology and the emerging scientific research in the study of happiness. Tal taught me and my peers the lesson of what is known as anti-fragility. Anti-fragility, as he explained, was a term that was written about by Nassim Taleb. And what anti-fragility is, it's sort of encapsulated in this concept of post-traumatic growth, or PTG, as it relates to resilience strengthening from the source. The resilience system of anti-fragility is analogous, he explained, to the muscular system in the body, wherein the more pressure is put on the muscle, on a muscle, the further and further it breaks down and subsequently grows after the fact. So it grows both in size and in strength. So muscular gains are made from the trauma, and it gets bigger and stronger afterwards, not in spite of the trauma, but because of it. This same thing occurs psychologically. When traumatic events are experienced in our lives, we've all heard of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. So what Tal talks about is PTG, post-traumatic growth. And we were taught that there are ways that we can directly trigger the anti-fragility system and indirectly, in doing so, trigger happiness. So I was very interested in this. We all were, of course. We all want to be happy. But most of us know that in the so-called pursuit of happiness, often happiness is not achieved. And suppressing negative emotions doesn't work either. You've heard me speak on my channel about the study that was done, I believe, at Harvard on a group of meditation practitioners that were told to focus on happiness. And these meditation practitioners, long story short, reported being more unhappy after the meditation session. Some of them were experiencing depression or sadness or grief, and because they were given the prompt to focus on happy and positive emotions, that suppression of their natural state not only didn't lead to happiness, but it made them feel even worse. So the research shows that that's not the way to do it. Instead, we must experience all of the emotions. That's the whole full range of emotions, and letting those emotions be as they are, surrendering to that, that is meditation, that's mindfulness. And that's where the peace comes. We must allow ourselves to domesticate our emotions, all of them, in order to experience and be able to process them and go through them and fully function. So it's not healthy to only experience positive emotions, just like it's not healthy to only experience negative emotions. We have to let ourselves feel. So suppressing negative emotions, in fact, leads to greater suffering. I can attest to this myself. Pushing something down and suppressing it only makes it ferment and fester. So the first way to trigger anti-fragility is through spirituality. What spirituality is, in essence, is just finding the purpose and meaning in your life. That's all it is. Having structure and commitment to discipline, with the primary goal of making progress over time and doing the things, in other words, that matter to you and that mean something to you, that are meaningful because they are meaningful and they matter to you, even if you don't necessarily always feel like doing them. That is self-discipline. So cultivating that lifestyle and, spending, for me, I'll speak for myself, for me it's 20 minutes of meditation in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. Gratitude practice, journaling, but I set aside time to check in with myself, to write my gratitude list, and to enter my thoughtless mind and be with myself such that I am. And that's a discipline along with the physical component to that, which is my yoga practice, which I also do every day. So little routine habits, and there are other things that I do in a disciplined fashion, but those are the main ones that I've been cultivating over the past 20 plus years that have given profound meaning to my life and helped me grow as an individual. Just for an example. So having a habitual routine of spiritual practice, whatever that translates for you, is very important, and consistency in crafting that deep life, having a purpose and meaning and a reason for waking up every morning. Those people in the research are more equipped to handle obstacles and stress compared to people who don't have spiritual practice. The second pathway to indirectly trigger happiness and directly trigger the anti-fragility system is physical well-being through right diet, mindful, conscientious eating, and movement, regular physical exercise and movement, because we know that stress is the silent killer. And if you don't have a way to manage stress, such as a regular exercise regime, walking in nature, if your diet is out of whack and haywire and the wrong nutrients or the absence of nutrients are occurring in your diet, that's going to do a number of things stress-wise to the body and the mind. So getting those two things situated so that our physical bodies are in optimal health is another extremely important component to overall happiness. The third quotient is intellectual well-being. I am the daughter of a brilliant scientist renowned in his field, so perhaps my thirst for knowledge and curiosity and inquisitive mind is inherited. But I also must say that I was born a very inquisitive and curious individual. So it's a bit of both there, nature and nurture at work. But the research, both current and emerging in the scientific literature, indicates that people who are intellectually curious, they not only report being happier overall, but better quality of life, and they, interestingly, live longer. So it's a longevity quotient as well. In particular, they found that people who had curious minds and asked questions, engaging in thoughtful discussion and examining, continuing to explore and experiment, all of these activities related to the intellect, challenging and engaging in the intellect, in other words, and not having it be static. So deliberate engagement in learning and acquisition of knowledge and then applying that knowledge to their lives. Those things were great predictors of longevity and happiness. So deeply learning and experiencing these things, reading and writing, all of these activities. Relationships are also crucial to happiness, and in fact, relationships or relational well-being is the number one predictor of happiness. Our time spent with loved ones and caring for one another, human to human, the quality of the relationships too, and this can also extend to volunteering in the community, finding ways to spread love and experience love and closeness. Extremely, extremely important. Relational well-being is the highest indicator of our happiness. Lastly comes emotional well-being. And it's critical, of course, that we cultivate positive emotions, but as I stated in the beginning, it's important that we don't suppress the negative ones so that we welcome and accept all of the emotions, the full range of human emotions. And the place where I begin, and I recommend everyone to begin if you're not already, is to daily start a gratitude practice each and every single day and start the day with that. That's what I do in the morning. I meditate, I breathe, and I focus on my breath. And in that focusing of the breath, I am grateful for only my breath in that moment. I focus on my breathing. I deeply breathe, and that's all I do. For about 20 minutes, I just sit with gratitude for my breath, and whatever is there in my body, in my mind, I don't push it away. I don't do anything with it. I just let it be. So meditation is actually no mind. It's the thoughtless mind. So there's no mind and no attachment. And the best way that I can suggest people do that is to focus on the breath. That's the easiest way. And be mindful of that and just keep practicing. But gratitude, being grateful for the things we have, and the more grateful we are for the things we have, the more abundance is in our lives. Starting with that, just waking up with gratitude so that I can be open and receiving, and that also that I can give. The Roman philosophers said that gratitude is the mother of all virtues, and how beautiful is that, and how fitting and true that is. If we just pay attention to it, the happier we are. More gratitude begets more gratitude is what I'm trying to say. Tal has written a book, by the way, that I highly, highly recommend everyone to read. It's called Happier No Matter What. I would highly recommend it. I will link it down below because it's an excellent read. Also, please write in the comments down below the little things that make you happy. I would love to know because it is the little things in life. The little things are what count. And as one of my favorite humans, Ryan Holiday, says, the little things are not small. The little things are not small. Ryan is always saying that. The little things are not small. I repeat that mantra all the time now. So overall wellness is realized by small steps, but it's no small thing. And he was quoting Zeno, the father of Stoicism. So I think that's very fitting and fitting words on which to conclude. I thank you as always for being here, and thank you so much for watching. Be well, everyone, and stay well.